we will see some of the basic feature systems for English. The first one is the AGR feature system. It stands for the person and number feature combined together. Okay, so person with respect to English grammar, you know, that is the sentence quoted as first person, second person, or third person. First person means the speaker is quoting himself, right, and talking about something. Second person means speaker might be talking about himself as well as speaker is talking about the listener. And third person means speaker is not at all talking about him or the listener, right? So those are persons with respect to English grammar. Then number feature we have already seen, like singular and plural. So these two things combined together can give us a single feature, and that is known as AGR. And AGR can take these 6 values. Oneness means first person singular. Okay, so the first digit stands for the person, and the second alphabet stands for the number feature. And it can take 2s. 2s means second person singular, 3s means third person singular, 1p means first person plural, then second person plural, and third person plural. So let us see some examples to understand AGR feature better. Consider the sentence that dog is barking. Okay, and if you consider this sentence, and the person of the sentences, it is third person because it is that dog, right? The speaker is not talking about himself or the listener, or what the speaker is talking about somebody else or some other animal, so it is not a third person. Then next thing is the speaker is talking about a dog, so it is singular. That is why this AGR feature is 3s. Then we were swimming. Okay, so speaker is talking about himself and somebody else to a listener, so it means that it is a first person talk. And here description is about a group of people, right? So it is plural, so AGR feature here is 1p. Now the next important feature system is V form, or the verb form feature. The verb form feature indicates the various forms a verb can take. Okay, these things we have already studied in English grammar, and it might be easy for you, right? A verb has its base form, and it's a simple present tense form, past tense form, present participle, past participle, etc. So if you see here, we have be, right? B is the base form of am, right? So if you see the simple present tense form of B, it is am. Then what is the past tense form of B? It is was. Present participle, it is being, and past participle, it is been. Okay, so V form feature structure, or the feature system, will actually help you to denote or annotate the form of the verb, okay, taken by a verb under consideration. So let's see about that. So what all values can V form take? Okay, V form can take base to indicate that a particular verb is of base form. It can take the value of PRES to indicate that the particular verb is present tense. Then it has the past tense. Then it has got finite form. Then it has ing, that is present participle form. Then it has the past participle form, and it has the infinitive form. And you know infinitive form, right? It means that verb will be prefixed with to. Okay, so these are the 7 values the V form feature can take. And let us see some examples for V form feature. So here a sentence is given, I see that. Okay, so what can be the V form value? So first of all, we need to understand which is the verb in that sentence, then only we can comment about its form. So if you consider that sentence, see is the verb and see is the base form of seeing or saw, right? So the V form value for this verb see is base. Then the next sentence is we were swimming. Okay, so here the verb form is past, and the reason is where is the past tense for be, right? So this verb form is past. Next we will move to the next feature, it is verb subcategorization or complement form. So verb subcategorization or complement forms that it is indicated using the feature structure subcat. Okay, so we first need to just go through what is meant by a verb complement. So just see these sentences given here. These are all different verb complements shown and their corresponding notations. So if we just take one, maybe catch, right? Okay, we will consider the verb catch. So a sentence using catch is written here. Jack caught Sam looking in his desk. Okay, so here the form of verb of catch is caught, right, used in the sentence. And if you carefully observe here, Jack caught, right, that part is enhanced by the next phrase, Sam looking in his desk. That is, Jack caught something, and what did he catch, right? That is explained by another phrase which has another verb. Okay, so it means that the verb caught is here complemented by another phrase. Okay, so this is known as verb complement form. Okay, so in order to indicate which verb complement form is expected in a sentence, we will use subcat feature. So let us take the catch example again. So Jack caught Sam looking in his desk. Okay, so which is the subcategorization or complement form used here? That's what we need to observe. Okay, so it is given as NP plus VP ing. Okay, so what is the meaning of NP plus VP ing? So it means that after the verb form or verb manifestation of catch, the structure of the remaining complement is of NP plus VP ing. That means it will have a noun phrase and it will have a verb in ing form. So if you observe the verb manifestation of catch in the sentence, that is caught. After that, what can you see? You can see a noun phrase, right? That is Sam, and a verb phrase with ing, that is looking in his desk. Ing, look, ing. So this is the format of this complement. So if you go through this table, every verb complement is shown in some format, right? So this subcat feature again uses this type of complement structure format as its values. So let us take another example. We will see the case of the verb watch. Okay, so in case of the verb watch, the sentence used here is Jack watched Sam eat the pizza. Okay, and the verb complement form given is NP plus VP base. It means that after the manifestation of watch in the sentence, you can have a noun phrase and you can have a verb phrase. That means a phrase consisting a verb in its base form. Okay, so if you see here, after watch or watched, we are having a noun phrase Sam and a verb phrase containing eat the pizza, and eat is in base form, right? It is not eating or ate like that, it is just eat in its base form. Okay, similarly you can go through this table and understand the various complement structures that are possible. This table is from your textbook, A Natural Language Understanding by James Allen. And as I told you, the subcat feature can take values depending on the complement structure, right? So let us take our example of catch. See, that example is shown here again. Catch example is shown here again. Jack caught Sam looking at his desk. So as I told you, after the manifestation of catch in the sentence, you have a noun phrase followed by a verb phrase in ing form, right? So that is shown here. That is, you will have a noun phrase followed by a verb phrase with ing form. Okay, so actually we need to understand what this subcat value represents. Okay, so the subcat value actually represents two constraints. That is, after the manifestation of verb, what should be the subcomponents in the sentence. So it should be a noun phrase and verb phrase. And the next restriction is, what is the restriction on the verb phrase, or what is the V form feature value. Okay, we saw earlier the different V form feature values, right? You might be remembering, we saw various V form values, and here there is a ing V form value, and it means present participle. Okay, so here it actually means that Jack caught Sam looking at his desk, and the complement form is NP VP ing, or VP constrained over ing. It means that the complement part, that is Sam looking at his desk, has a noun phrase, that is Sam, then verb phrase with verb constrained on present participle. Okay, so that is the meaning of this representation. The same is represented as a production format over here. Okay, so similarly you can go through the other subcat values and understand the meaning from these examples. Again, this is taken from your textbook, Natural Language Understanding by James Allen. Now the next thing is we were talking about verb complement, right? That is something that complements or talks more about your verb. So verb complement can also have prepositional phrases. So what are prepositional phrases? Prepositional phrases are phrases that indicate some direction or time, position, or some movement, something like that. Okay, so we will see how we can actually constrain the prepositions that we are going to use. Okay, for that also some feature control is available, or feature values are available, and that feature is known as P form, or the preposition form. So what all values can it take? These are the values to, LOC, and mod. Okay, to stands to, capital TO means that head of the preposition should be the word to, TO. And what is the meaning of P form value having LOC? P form value having LOC means that that prepositional phrase describes a location. Then P form value taking mod, it means that it talks about some path. Okay, so we can see these things through an example. So if you see the sentence, I put it on the desk. Okay, so it means that this prepositional phrase is talking about a location on the desk, right? On, the preposition used here is on, and it is talking about location on the desk. So the P form value of the preposition on is LOC, because it talks about a location. Okay, if you see this case, I walked to the store. So what does to represent, or the preposition to represent? To represents actually an aspect of a path, right? I walked to the store. It is actually describing a path. So the P form value, or the P form feature of to is mod, or it indicates a path. Similarly the case of to. Okay, again this is taken from the textbook Natural Language Understanding by James Allen. Okay, now we saw how we can restrict prepositional phrases, right? And we also know that the verb complement can have prepositional phrases. Earlier we saw verb complement having verb phrase as well as noun phrases and all in examples. Now we are going to see how propositional phrases constrained by P form values can occur as subcat values, okay, or complement form values. So let us take an example here. Jack took the hat to the party. So this is a sentence, right? Jack took the hat to the party. And here the main verb is took, and took is complemented by the hat to the party. Okay, Jack took something, and what was that? It was a hat, and it was meant to be taken to a party, right? Okay, so we will see how we can constrain this sentence using feature system, or how we can represent structure of the sentence using feature system. If I am considering took, its base form is take, right? You can see take here. Okay, the took's base form is take, right? So after took, what am I seeing? I am seeing a propositional phrase, right? Because this phrase is having a to in it. And what type of proposition is that, or what is the P form value of the proposition? The P form value of the proposition, you can say either it is a to or it is a mod. And okay, check once again. Is it a to actually? Is it a to? Okay, it is very doubtful, right? If you see it to, whether should I include it in to or not. So let us see the definition of to. What is to actually? To means the propositional phrase should have to in the head of the proposition. Okay, so in the next thing, if you see here, the example where Jack took the hat to the party. After took, it is the hat to the party. So to is not in the head position, so it is nowhere near the to P form. Here it is had been taken to the party. It describes some sort of path, right? So it means the propositional phrase is constrained over P form value mod or a path. So you can stress that if a sentence is having the past tense form of take, right, or if take is included in a sentence, then if you are going to use a propositional phrase as a complement, then it should be constrained by a mod. Okay, so similarly you can go through other examples also. Now we have certain other features known as binary features. Okay, the binary features are those features which can be optionally present in a component, or it can be absent from the component. Okay, so it can only have two values, plus or minus. So a binary feature having the value plus in a subcomponent means that that feature is present in that component, and a binary feature having minus value indicates that that feature is not present in the component. So we will see an example here. So if we see the example, we are talking about a feature known as INV, or it means that INV feature will be present in a sentence which is inverted. Okay, so what is meant by an inverted sentence? In English, an inverted sentence is one in which the subject changes its position. Usually it is subject, subject, predicate and object, right? But in case of an inverted sentence, the subject may actually be preceded by an action or a verb, okay, unlike in most of the common sentences. So here we have an example: you are tired. Okay, here the subject is you, and it is actually preceding your verb, right? So it is a normal sentence. So if you are considering the inversion as a feature here, here there is no inversion. It is a proper sentence in the subject predicate structure. So the inversion value or INV feature value is negative, or that feature is not present here. But if you consider this sentence, are you tired? Here the verb is coming before the subject, right? Here the subject is you and the verb is are. So it means that the inversion feature is present here in this sentence. In this sentence is inverted, so inversion feature is present. and so the inversion features value for this sentence is positive. Okay, and there is also another use of this plus and minus feature values. Suppose that we are defining many features for a subcomponent, and we don't know what value should be given initially. So at that time what you can do is you can set all the feature values as negative initially. So negative actually means that that feature is non-existent. Okay, but due through the course of parsing, or when we are doing some operations, we may actually reset the values of those features from minus to a minus to plus, or some other valid value, and the rest of the features which are not used will be having minus value, and they will be discarded. Okay, so this is the use of binary feature. Okay.